This is a guide for site and district administrators to add access rights to educator plans. This will not show you how to add rights to principal, AP, or central office plans. There is a separate help guide for that. The rights that you can give to plans are, you can give evaluator rights. No, the principal automatically comes in with evaluator rights to everyone in their location, and no additional rights have to be given. The evaluator is the person who can complete all parts of the plan with the exception of the peer observation. They can do the summary observation, observations 1, 2, 3 if there is one, and they can do additional observations 1, 2, and 3. So once again, they can do everything including the summary with the exception of the peer observation. If someone has observer rights, that is just one step below evaluator. They can do observations 1, 2, 3. They can do additional observations. However, they cannot do the summary evaluation, and once again, they cannot do peer observations either. So if you have someone who's going to help in this process, but you want to be the final one who always does a summary, do not give them evaluator rights, just give them observer rights. You also have peer observer rights. The peer observer is the only person who can acknowledge and sign off on that peer observation, which is required for all comprehensive plans. And then we have mentors. So for a mentor, you can give anyone a mentor on their PDP. There's a space for it. However, it's not a required field, but it is required for beginning teachers. So making sure that all of your beginning teachers do have a mentor. And then you also have view-only rights. And this is for anyone who just needs to be able to view a plan, but they don't need to be able to edit it. And then you have reopen rights. And this is the person who is going to be responsible for reopening steps to the plan. So this is your district administrator who comes in with the reopen rights. So we're going to go through and we're going to look at giving someone evaluator rights specifically to plans. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to NCEES. And then from NCEES, you are going to go to My Staff. From My Staff, you're going to go to Administration Staff Management. And you're going to see if the person you need is in the list. If the person is not in this list, you can click Add Administrators and search for their name. But if they are in the list, all you have to do is click the drop down in front of their name and then go to Admin Rights. Once again, if you don't see them in the list, especially if it's the first time someone's a peer observer or a mentor, you will probably have to search for their name. I'm going to click Admin Rights. And then from Admin Rights, it's going to take you to this screen. There's several different parts to this screen. If you go to the top, you can scroll. Any rights that have already been given appear in this little top section. You can scroll up and down to see more. And then we're going to make sure we follow all the steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to make sure we click Add. So if you are a district administrator, you will need to choose schools to navigate between schools. If you're a site admin, you'll only see the one school you have access to. So you're going to choose your site. Then you're going to choose the plan. So, and this is specific. So any rights you gave last year will not appear, not be here. You have to do this process every year. So I'm going to go in and I am going to choose abbreviated. And I am going to, maybe this person's going to do everything. If they're going to do everything, leave number 3 blank. It becomes a dynamic add. And I'll show you what that means in just a second. Or if you can just pick and choose a couple people. Or you can choose people who are only currently in the list. But I'm going to leave it blank because that does make it a dynamic add. And then I'm going to let this person be my evaluator. I'm going to click the word add. And then it's going to say this is going to give access rights to all people in the selected area. And if you'll notice, there's a blue check in this box, and this bar right here, even though I didn't check anything. That means anybody who is currently in this list or anybody who could potentially be added to the list, this person is going to be an evaluator for them. It's a dynamic field and will update. Now, if you were to just check the box on your own, then you would still have to come back and manually. So leave 3 blank. I'm going to click Add. I'm going to go to the top to make sure I see it in this section, and I do. And then I'm going to give this person any other additional rights that they need. So they're going to help me with abbreviated plans. They're also going to help with comprehensive plans. Once again, leave that blank if you want them to help with everybody. Now, before you do this, do you really want them to help with everyone? So just being mindful of that. But if you leave it blank, you'll notice there'll be a blue check here in just a few minutes. I want them to be an evaluator. I'm going to click the word Add. It's going to say it's going to give access rights to all people. Once again, notice that blue check. That's going to encompass everyone who's in the list now and everybody who could potentially be in that list later. Then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go to the top, make sure I see it up here in this list. And then when you're finished, you click Done. If you see someone was given rights that they shouldn't, maybe you gave someone mentor rights or peer observer rights and you realize later that's not a good fit and they need to have a different one. Any rights that were added on this page can be removed from this page. So the only way you can do that is if you see the source of rights is this page. So I'm going to check this box. Notice the word remove rights when I check the box. It turns red. So if maybe this person shouldn't have been a peer observer for them, check the box and then click remove rights. And it's, are you sure you want to remove rights? And you say yes. Any actions that are done on this page do need to process overnight. So if you remove rights from someone, they will still see the plans until the next day. And then if you add rights, they will not see the plans until the next day. All that happens in the overnight process.